The one chart that looks actually bullish still in the FANG is Amazon. Now, hear me out. Amazon is down and it has not made it back up to where it broke down. This is kind of just that point I'm trying to make right here. Okay. So if this is going to continue, if we do get a backdrop for higher, Amazon could be one that plays catch up. Okay. So that's really what I wanted to kind of what I'm tracking for potential swing long in Amazon. Yeah. If Amazon gets the rotation nod, it needs to stay above 114, but more specifically, the price target, the near term would be 126. Any continuation in this, which is obviously trying to push higher every single day above the 200 is very, very constructive. It's had strong gaps. In fact, once it cleared the 200, it has just been on fire. And you can kind of see it's coming back into this trend line. 121 and change. So Amazon long, remember, it's very extended from the mean right now. It did a lot of chopping on the 200, gapped up very, very nicely, consolidated at 112, went to the next price target of 115.80. The next is, basically 118. 118 will likely be this trend line. Should be a shimmy right there, but it looks, if this very strong 114 area holds, we could definitely get a push into 121, 126 for Amazon. So Adobe has a little bit of AI. That, first of all, it's been languishing for a while. It really does not have anything interesting in its product roadmap. But this technical, got below and then came right back in very, very strongly. I might add off of a gap fill. So I love gap fills, right? It really, really pushed extremely well off this gap fill and came right back up and through. So I'm looking back into the next gap fill, basically, right here, this little puppy. So I'm looking at this going, I like this breakout as a potential area for more if we get, obviously, some more action in the AI ramp. And there is a gap fill above about 324.62 to be exact. So long story short, I'm liking Adobe. Did not really get excited about it until just when I was looking through my swings and is there anything I really like in the AI space? I think Adobe. I think Adobe's going to get and stay above this trend line and start to percolate higher. It's definitely got resistance, but I like that one a lot. All right, so the AI pushing higher above 2165. If you're chasing that one, this is the level it has to get back above. It held so well. This was an early one that Archna had seen in the January effect, and then it really did sideways, went almost parabolic and got sold sharply. I forget on who, in Hindenburg or one of them said this is BS. Anyway, it has started to stabilize again. So if AI gets above 2171, it'll have some more energy. You can kind of see it trying, doesn't mean it will, but it will have some more energy to pop up to 23, and then we'll see what happens. Great push above that 2164 on way to above 2171 on way to 23.5. Remember, that's on a 30-minute. So objects appear a lot larger, but it's a gorgeous open. This AI earnings out of the way, opened up at 2040. Price target 2171. Once we get above 2171, we head up to 23.5, and it's on its way. So AMD had, first and foremost, a bogus, for lack of a better word, press release that came out, Microsoft, partnering kind of thing. And it was already a gorgeous short into this 82, right? But that's double support. You got a trend line going way back. You got this move higher, come back 82. Did not repeat, did not roll over and tag the 200. It immediately got some headline on Microsoft partnership and did one of these. It did come back down. It started to look really, really strong for a revisit back down to 82, but nope, Friday happened. There was no way anything was going to be a strong short in the backdrop of that incredibly strong intraday trending day in SPX. And sure enough, it got defended. That's all I can say about that. So 91, above 91, it will move up to 94 on a weekly. If you're hourly, you want to use 91.30, 40, this area. See how it got tapped back down? So this is resistance on an hourly. If it gets above 91.37, it's bullish. Arista, still doing great. So there were three, right, that are kind of in the same boat that I suggested, recommended. I really, really liked Adobe. That was first one. And then Arista had a fabulous move into this trend line and even closed above, and it's continuing higher with a gorgeous cradle formation. So I really like this one very, very, very much. Next price target is 162, and above that is higher. This is more of a swing trade. It's not a squeeze. It just, I think it has a gorgeous pattern and it's in the right space. That these are the ones that kind of were under the radar, and they are gorgeous cradle formation pattern, which means this should be 200. If this market continues the way it is, this should head higher. But this is resistance right here. So normal times, this would digest between 165 and 155 and still be bullish. These are not normal times. We are in a melt up. Yeah, no, crowd looks a lot better as long as it stays above 125.50. I like if it stays above. Earnings at end of the month, so it could run into earnings all the way back up to 141. Crowd looks like a nice little starter one, right? This is holding that 118.5. It gaps up, needs to hold 125.52. That's important. Gaps, I should say literally daily gap up above 126.55. And now it's doing pretty well. I'd say this is definitely trying. They're looking great, especially crowd. I got to tell you, that one looks really nice above 125.52 weekly, 126.55 daily. Crowd, SE and ZB, and they're really doing well. Again, I really like this support here. A gap above to start the week is extremely bullish above 125.52 on a close and above 126.55 on a daily, and it just kept going. Yeah, I like Adobe and I like this net. They have very, very similar charts. Sorry, they have very similar charts. Has to stay above 54.86. We can get a little push higher. Yeah, that would actually be a nice low risk entry for a swing. Not something I'm looking at today, but we could definitely push up into that 61.86 area and then above that 67, but we need a little bit more time. Came up, gapped up actually. It's been really strong pullback. Right to support, and now it looks very good. Chaser swing time frame for Adobe, Arista, and Cloudflare. And then last but not least, this net has a similar look if it holds 54.86. Netflix had a nice push higher. Where's my data? Exactly. Look at that. Yep. So it did move to 330. I said, well, if we can get above 330, then I can tag this kind of 332.85. It was almost it hit 333.43, whatever that trend line was, it hit it. This is the intraday, so I have a different trend line. This is the daily trend line. So now it's having a little pause. It's bullish once it can get above all that junk, not until. And Netflix is already pushing higher into that trend line. This is easier. Netflix is a lot easier. Lots and lots of volume, lots and lots of options, lots and lots of structure to this move higher. Right? This was a great breakout, continuation, pull back to support, breakout. We're heading up to that 336.65, but we still have to get above and stay above for it to really move higher. Oracle's doing great though. Speaking of swings, that's still very, very strong on the swing long front. Fascinating, I know. Yeah, it's a tough one. So this is another one, Palantir, however you pronounce it. Needs to get and stay above 894. So it's having some distribution right now, at least back to the 7 and 17. This is a very choppy product. Anyway, it needs to stay above 872. But the real trigger is 894. Yeah, it looks very good above 872. I'm sorry, that's on a daily. 894. Definitely, if it can stick this landing and kind of move above this trend line, it'll be much more productive. Ashish, I don't think gold made a triple top on a weekly. I think it's going to be moving higher in time. Palantir has puts that are getting written on this puppy. So they're definitely very, very bullish, Palantir. Yeah. It has to clear in order to really take off, but I wouldn't be surprised if they have already started to at the open, and I don't even know the report, but I see a very sharp rejection up right here. Very nice. Actually, this actually started even before this gap. They started to accumulate it literally right here. Yeah. Obviously, I didn't see that, but yeah, they started to accumulate here into earnings. They knew this was happening. 22 million in the last 18 minutes. So they're definitely chasing this guy. PLTR. Oh my God, right? So same thing. Guess what the volume is in the last 28 minutes. 36.4 million shares. Like this is a definition of a chase, right? They're like way off sides on this one. Maybe it's also short covering. I don't have that breakdown, but I can definitely see when a stock holds its gap up, right? Really, really strong move higher, and then it just pulls back shallow. But by the way, what's shallow? This exact tag of a 7 and 17. Breaks out, comes back, tags this 17. And the only way this is bearish is if it breaks this 17. So right now, this is still very, very much in play with 37 million shares coming in. No joke. It's very strong. Snap also getting some volume, few million, 3 million in the last 30 minutes. So Snap oversold bounce in play. Needs to push above 893. Yeah, Snap definitely had volume, and it is, oops, sorry. Snap, crackle pop. This definitely had volume, and it's following through. That's the underside of a trend line. It's also the 21-day. I had mentioned the, I was looking for volume leaders. That was definitely a volume leader. Oh, and Snap, yeah, it's doing fine. Actually, this is just tagging the 10 week now. But look at the options that are coming in, and they're June. This is much prettier for a continuation play. So I don't think this one's done. I like 991 a lot. Tesla, if this closes above 177.37 this week, that's a bullish engulfing. It heads back up to that 194. It's got the 100-day coming up on Tesla. See the 180.68? It's hit this before and then dumped. Hit this before and then dumped. So if we can get above this 180.68, then this can keep moving higher. The big level for me has been, honestly, once it gapped down, a run back up to 174 made a lot, this 174.30 made a lot of sense, and then it had a big exhaustion candle again. But it's taking out that exhaustion candle, so that's bullish. Twilio was a squeeze yesterday. Remember that one? Oh my God. Way. And I missed the open on this. I said this would have been a stunning chase at 51. I was a little late in that. Anyway, it triggered above 53.64. It was in a massive 30-minute squeeze yesterday. Let's see, that was Friday. Yeah. Monday. Oh, actually, you know what? That squeeze started on Friday. Absolutely started on Friday. VLO and Twilio. I did Twilio, didn't I? Sorry, I didn't touch. That's, like I said, I think that's done for now. That 200-day, gorgeous, but I think it's got to digest a little bit. Let's see if it can get and hold above this 61.5. Very, very, very nice. This was already way too much. Sorry, this one right here. This literally triggered an open above 51. I didn't at all see it until my 53.64 trigger, and it literally moved all the way from 53.64 to 61.5 on earnings. It likely digests here. Means comes back. Wouldn't surprise me if it comes back to like 56. Needs to hold this, and then it really moves strongly higher. That one, for example, that looks really good. I think this looks really good. So you've got this just starting on a weekly, just starting on a daily, great level. Need to break above this 90.84. Look at this Bollinger Band squeeze. I don't know what options you're using, but this is gorgeous. Yep. Keep it above 89. Obviously, if you're short duration, you do not want this to come back even a little bit. And it has a lot of work to do to be a bottom fishing play, but I'm just saying you picked your timing on one that would break out, and it is absolutely breaking out. Oh my God. It's not done. It's just starting. Look at that. Perfect tag. I don't think it's done. And then ZS was one on Friday just because it was sitting on this trend line. Looked like a good low risk entry, and it popped up 20%. But this needs time to digest. And again, we don't have any earnings until June 1. So it could very well serve as a sideways and higher into earnings. But once they actually report, it's just really tough to have an edge. All right, so ZS, getting back to kind of the knitting here. We just hit that 114. Honestly, that is a really nice place to be. I think we could get a little bit more, 116.67, but this is normal for this to pause in here. We haven't even gotten earnings. They're on June 1st. Melt up in SPY or Qs. That's all there's to say about that. 345.80 comes into play next.